Morning, guys. Hope you're well. I'm really sorry I haven't posted in a while. I've been quite busy during lockdown, sorting out my other business. Yeah, surprisingly, koi isn't my main business. It's a hobby that's gone mad. But I actually have another business to take care of as well. What I wanted to chat to you guys about today was about problems in your pond and what to do when things go wrong. So the first thing I always look at is, there's only two things that can happen. The one is there's a problem with your water, and the other one, there's a problem on your fish. And it's important to understand exactly what's wrong before you start treating. So please resist the urge to run out and suddenly buy broad spectrum medication and put stuff into your pond, hoping that'll just cover anything that might be happening. So the starting point for me when things are going wrong in the pond is check the water parameters. So go and have a look, especially at pH. Have a look at the different parameters in your water, the ammonia, the nitrite, the nitrate. pH is often the starting point for me, but check your water parameters out. Once you know what your water is doing, then you start moving on to looking at the fish. So it's first the water, then you look at the fish. Okay, and once you're looking at the fish, it's pretty much either going to be parasites, it's going to be potentially a virus, or it's going to be bacterial. So it's one of those three things. Most of the time, it's parasites. The only way to know if it's parasites is actually to do a microscope scrape. So that is the most reliable way to work out what you're dealing with and then start treating it. If you don't find anything on the microscope scrape, that's when you work your way into the other possible problems. But obviously look at the symptoms. So what are the fish showing you? Are they scraping? Are their fins red? What seems to be the problem? But the starting point is actually just doing a scrape. Either have a microscope yourself, an old one that you get from a school chemist lab, even that works. But it's always good to know exactly what you're dealing with first. So separate, in terms of dealing with virus and bacterial. Starting with parasites. I'm very critical of the different treatments. Everyone has got a different way of treating parasites. I'll tell you what I do, and then you can work it out for yourself in terms of what you think is the best route for you. The first thing is gill flukes and skin flukes. You have to treat with a worm-based product. I don't think that potassium gets rid of it necessarily properly. Yes, it does in a dip, but in the pond environment, I don't think potassium is sorting out flukes completely. It helps, but it doesn't sort it out. Salt doesn't sort out the problem completely. It helps the fish cope with parasites, and it helps them produce more mucus, which helps them cope. It kills some of the parasites. It doesn't get rid of parasites completely. Salt is not great at getting rid of flukes completely. And even with Costia, I've had 8 parts salt per 1,000 liter, and I've still had salt-resistant Costia exist. So it doesn't work. So if it's flukes, use a worm-based product. Here we've got Saponva. That's for skin flukes, for gill flukes. It'll work for fish lice, anything like that. Then if you have Costia or Trichodina or Chilodenilla or anything else that might exist on the fish, use a different treatment. And that's where I think potassium can play a role. I think the only way to get rid of Costia properly is potassium, and multiple treatments over multiple days of potassium. Doesn't work for flukes in my opinion, but it does work for Costia, and it works for anything else. It also works for bacterial issues. An additional thing for bacterial issues is maybe looking at raising your salt content. So when you're dealing with a problem, always raise your salt content. I take the salt up to 6 parts per 1,000 liters, and then I do my treatments against that. Not if I'm putting in malachite, green, and formalin. I hardly ever use that, but when I'm treating for Costia, 6 parts per 1,000 in terms of salt, and then I use potassium permanganate at the base. When I'm treating bacterial, I use acroflavin in the pond, 6 parts per 1,000 in terms of salt. And the important thing is to understand the life cycle of the parasite and deal with it completely. So I've just given you a couple of tips in terms of how to kind of manage these things. This is my advice. It's what I do. I mean, obviously everyone has got their own way, but these are the kind of things that work for me. I mean, I think put your comments on the bottom in terms of what your experience has been. I'd like to hear it. But yeah, thanks for watching.